cloudy, muggy, but not a bad night for baseball in Atlanta. The Nats and the Braves are 8-8 in the season series, so we'll take all the support on the road we can get. Nats fans been traveling well with us all year long. Remember us? That's FP. I'm Bob. We missed you guys. Good to be back with you. But the most recent time the Nats played on Sunday night, that first baseman, Ryan Zimmerman, put on quite a show.
Yeah, on a national stage, too. And I think he's making a case for not only MVP of the Washington Nationals, but maybe MVP of the National League. When you're looking at number 32, number 33, he's got 99 RBIs. But let's all reflect back to the month of April when Ryan hit .420 with 11 home runs. He had 29 RBI in the month, a .458 on base percentage. The Nats were 17-8 the month of April, a .680 winning percentage, their best month of the year. They got out of the gate. They've never looked back because of the guy you're looking at right now. And don't forget the Bryce Harper factor. And remember last year, Bryce got walked all the time. This year, opponents had to pitch to Bryce Harper, who's hitting .326 with 29 home runs and 87 RBIs because of the guy you're looking at on the screen. He's gone coast to coast. He's been healthy. He's finishing strong. And I think he should be considered as the National League MVP.
Numbers this year compared to his career highs, and they are fantastic in comparison. I'm with you, buddy. Wire to wire, Ryan Zimmerman, the man with the bat. And then there's Max Scherzer, who's about to face the Braves for the 5th time this year. So on the road, he's been nothing short of remarkable. 14 starts, 1.79 ERA. He's won 8 decisions out of 10. So Scherzer and the Braves for the 5th time this year. Game 1 from Atlanta, straight ahead. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. Twilight time already here in Atlanta. Lights will be taking full effect here in a moment. Ryan Zimmerman, in his career against the Atlanta Braves, is hitting .284 with 26 homers and 109 RBIs. They're just now bringing out the lineup cards. Eddie Perez coaching for the Braves, and of course our skipper Dusty Baker. It's 82 at game time, partly cloudy. Some weather in the area. We hope it's not a factor, but it is a bit muggy and the ball could be staying in the air for a while tonight. Early game notes. So for the second time in franchise history, the Nats go back-to-back 90 wins. Dusty, by the way, 10th time in his career he's won 90. Only 12 skippers have ever done that. And about 45 minutes ago, Daniel Murphy scratched with a left hamstring strain. Hopefully nothing more than day-to-day. Luis Gohara bringing that fastball against the Nats tonight. But FP, maybe the biggest news was this afternoon. when there was a bit of a, what would you call it, hitter's simulated game for Bryce Harper.
There was. The first pitch didn't go so well. He fouled it off his foot, but after that he hit a tater over the Braves bullpen about 5 or 6 rows back. This one almost got out to left. Mike Rizzo saying afterwards that they're going to reevaluate him to see how he comes out of it. They're going to try another simulated game in New York and then go from there. So, you know, he shagged some ground balls, made some throws from right. He ran the bases full speed. He looked great today. So see how he comes out tomorrow. Simulated game in New York. And then who knows, maybe he plays on this road trip in Philadelphia. Get some games under his belt, and here we go. How exciting is that to see Bryce Harper close?
That would be fantastic. Bryce still has enough at-bats that he's on the league list for a lot of categories. In fact, his .326 batting average now is only 6 points behind Charlie Blackmon. Something to keep an eye on as we go through the last 2 weeks of the season. All the other numbers were MVP caliber at the time he got hurt. Mike Rizzo told me that the big takeaway he had today was Bryce was swinging free and easy and everything looked effortless. Here's the lineup. So Zimmerman, Kendrick, and Defoe. Originally Murphy was behind Rendon. Anthony just right about 1 for 1 on the walks and the strikeouts. 77 walks, 78 strikeouts on the year. That's the 9th most walks in the league. So Luis Gohara, 6 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs against the Nats when he faced him for the first time last week.
And here's the arsenal for Luis. You see the fastball 97, kind of a CC Sabathia lookalike. 3rd major league start, last start of the 13th against the Nats was the 8-2 winner. Gave up just a couple of runs, 1 earned over 6 innings, struck out 6 Nats, walked nobody in a 71 pitch effort. It's time for your Coons.com scouting report. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. Became the 5th Brazilian to play at the major league level. And he's the 23rd starter used by the Braves since the start of last year. That's the 3rd most in the National League, 2 off the lead, and that's Cincinnati. Good defense for the Braves behind Mr. Gohara. Adams, Inciarte, Marquez the outfield. Swanson, Ruiz the left side. Albies, Freddie Freeman on the right side, and Kurt Suzuki behind the plate.
Yeah, Kurt Suzuki's had a nice year. As we told you last week, they basically signed him to catch R.A. Dickey in the knuckleball. He's gone way beyond that. Hitting .263 with 15 home runs. Here we go. 7:37 and now 38 as the ball comes in on the first pitch tonight. 82 degrees in Trey Turner. 2 for 3 against Gohara in that game last week. Nats hitting .268 as a team. 4 points behind the Rockies. That one paints on the inside edge. 0-2.
So if you're wondering who pitched to Bryce in that video we just showed you, the Nats called up a couple of pitchers from A-ball to throw to Bryce.
Cool.
One from Hagerstown, one Potomac. Brigham Hill and Sterling Sharp, the 2 pitchers that threw today.
Good for them. Take your time there, man. Don't wait too long. Gohara finally over to first base for that first out. So 19-year veteran, the crew chief Bill Miller has the plate. Adam Hamari at first, Nick Lentz second base, Kerwin Danley 26th here. He's over at third. SunTrust Park, haven't been here in a while. Jason Worth, the Nats were the 2nd team in here on their very first homestand. You might remember they were on the road for a while. They swept the Padres, and the Nats came in here and swept them. Worth at 235. First pitch swinging and a high fly ball. Short left center. Inciarte. No trouble seeing it. 2 down. Some of the Braves guys told me last week that it was windy in April, as you see the dimensions. And a lot of home runs were hitting here. So everybody said, wow, when this place warms up, it's going to be a bandbox. But they said it's actually played pretty fair all summer long. 385 to left center, but the wall is shorter over there. It's 9 feet over there compared to 16 feet in right out to right center. Brian Snitker's Braves 7 under at home, 7 under on the road. Anthony Rendon hitting .304. 4 points out of the top 10 in National League batting average. 1 for 3 against Gohara last week. They give him left center. This one right out to where Inciarte was playing, a shade off to the right. And a very quick inning on 6 pitches. Max Scherzer, his turn to go to work. Doesn't it? Braves hitting .265, third in the league. They're averaging 6 runs a game against the Nationals this year. And Ozzie Albies, their rookie second baseman, had quite a series in our ballpark. 5 for 12 last week, couple of homers, drove in 4, scored 5. He is 0 for his last 8, hitting .282. Freddie Freeman, our nemesis, right behind him. Max's 6-5 career, 16 games, 14 starts against the Braves.
We'll see the arsenal for Max. A fastball 48% of the time. About a season high 7 earned runs last start against these Braves on the 13th. Walked 6, struck out 7. The 6 walks are the most he's had since September of 2013. So we've seen Max have an okay start against a team and come back and try to prove something the next time. And you're thinking that's going to happen here tonight.
Ball clubs have seen a lot of each other, and Max has been in the middle of it as Inciarte fouls one off. Inciarte against Scherzer, 7 for 28 career. Having a good year. Like Rendon, he's just out of the top 10 in batting average. Target away, and that's where the fastball was delivered up, unhittable at 94.
It's time for Coons.com Scout Report. When you're talking cars, you're talking Coons. To the Max, get this, 1,384 fastballs this year thrown by Max. Only 302 have been put into play for a .238 average against a double play lane. 67.3 ground ball percentage on his changeup this year. So when he needs a double play, he'll go to the changeup to get the ground ball. There's double play lane right there.
3 strikeouts away from .250 for Scherzer. When he gets there, we'll give you some numbers and thoughts on that. Ozzie Albies 1 for 2 with a couple of walks against Max last week. Rendon even with the bag at third. Max.
You'll hear players on the bench, the slang is called put him in the lane, and that means put him in double play lane. Little street you go to when you need a double play.
Target away again like it was on Inciarte. Albies fouls it away.
Defense for the Nats. Behind Max Scherzer, Kendrick Taylor Worth the outfield, Turner Rendon, Defoe Zimmerman, Matt Wieters doing the catching.
And the switch hitters get to bat right-handed tonight. Defoe and Wieters, they've been better from that side. 0-2 to Albies, who's now 0 for his last 9. And Max Scherzer, 248 strikeouts.
Stalking early, isn't he? Yeah, you know, he always has something to prove when he has a less than perfect outing against a team the next time. You're seeing it here early. So there's the slider from Max. He's thrown 723 of those this year for a 133 average against. Only 173 have been put in play.
Here's the big matchup we always look forward to. Nats Braves, Scherzer and Freeman. Freddie 4 for 18 with 2 homers career against our ace.
You know, we always sit here and say how good Freddie Freeman is. Let's try something different. This guy stinks in the box right now, Bob. He's absolutely horrible and he can't hit.
I'm trying to think that way, but he just makes it so hard. 16 homers, 69 career RBIs. His numbers against the Nats very similar to Ryan Zimmerman's numbers against the Braves.
So late right there, he couldn't even get around on it. Swinging a slow bat today. I'm going opposite. I'm trying it. Go Mr. Opposite, because we sit here every time and say, hey, kills the Nats, he's great. All the Nats fans are sitting home going, where's this one going? I'm going reverse psychology here, see if it works.
Yeah, a little deeper, as I mentioned, in left center, but it's tailor-made here for his swing. That one straight away center. Michael A. Taylor tracking it. He hit it about 380, and that inning is over. My partner's arms raised in triumph as we wrap up the bottom of the first. Freight Rail Works. And right now, he's faster than a passenger train. Ryan Zimmerman, the way he's swinging. 1 RBI away from 100. After Gohara 6-6. So Ryan Zimmerman's not on this panel, but we think to a certain extent he should be. Not having the big season like these guys are, but I mean right in the same ballpark. And I think you can make a case, and we're going to be making that case. Hitting over 300. Next home run will be a career high. This ball out of play off to the right, and he's about to get his 3rd 100 RBI season.
Well, if you missed it at the top of the broadcast tonight, 420, 11 home runs in April. The Nats were 17-8 in April, 680 winning percentage. That was their best month all year. And I think a big reason why Bryce Harper got pitched to all year is because Ryan has been locked in since day one. So the Nats got out of the gate. They haven't looked back. Bryce has had a great year because he's had protection behind him in the form of Ryan Zimmerman. So when you talk about valuable, Bryce hasn't got a walk this year like he did by the Cubs and Joe Madden last year because of the guy you're looking at in the batter's box right now.
Yeah, that's taking that whole lineup thing one step further. Good call. And by the way, Ryan and the Nats are facing a pitching staff that's about to give up a team record in home runs. So the next one will be a new record. Got a long way to go from his first full season in 06 for RBIs. He's going to go way past his previous slugging best. And Ryan Zimmerman high in the air, deep to right center, approaching that big wall, and only the fact that it's 16 feet high keeps it in the ballpark. Very close to RBI number 100 and homer number 34. He'll settle for double number 30.
He's laughing about it. He thought it might have been out. He's looking for confirmation in the dugout. So there goes the no-hitter. Look at him stay on that slider from Gohara, going the other way. That's where the Taters went the other night against the Dodgers, and you're thinking, did he do it again? I didn't hear the crisp sound, so I wasn't thinking home run, but it darn near was. Look where that one hit, high off the wall in right field. Zim VP, anybody?
How about his last 3 swings going to right center for 10 total bases? Here's Howie Kendrick hitting .302 as an at. They'd like to drive Ryan home here, wants to at least advance him.
Okay, starting all-star first baseman. I don't know. It just hit me the other night watching the game on ESPN. I said, wait a minute. Why not?
You can win an award in the last 2 weeks of the season if you've had a great run up to that point.
Right. There's a lot of talk about Anthony Rendon, a lot of talk about Bryce Harper. What a problem to have that you have 3 potential MVP candidates in the same club. Maybe even Max Scherzer for that matter. But when you're looking at the guy on the screen right now, he's got to get some love. Has to.
Big gap in left center. As usual, that fastball way upstairs. 1-1. That ball hit really hard and foul.
By the way, when Freddie Freeman hit that fly ball, it's the most nervous I've been on the air in about 7 years.
Yeah, you almost jinxed it.
Please, no.
You believe in that stuff more than I do, but
do.
I could sense your uneasiness.
Yeah. Please stay in the park, ball.
It did. By 20 feet. Probably a millimeter on the bat. Swing and a miss. Gohara throws it by Howie Kendrick for his 13th strikeout in 11 innings as a big leaguer. First K of the night. Now in the original lineup, Murphy was 4th, Zimmerman 5th, and Kendrick 6th. When Daniel had to be scratched just over an hour ago, Zimmerman bumped up to 4, Howie to 5, and then Wilmer Defoe put in there ahead of Michael A. Taylor. Right-handed Defoe this year, .338.
Yeah, the slider from Gohara has been the pitch in his 3 starts this year. Opponents just 1 for 16 against it this year. Well, in 3 starts, 0.63 average. Fastball, 474 average against. So get on the heater.
Good take by Wilmer. And then another one on a fastball that was over but low, 3-0. Defoe 1 for 3 in the game against Gohara last week with an RBI.
I wonder how many 3-0 green lights Wilmer's had in his career, but right now is a good time. Gonna get a heater. He could be right down the middle and jump on it.
Ballpark with big gaps for a guy like him. Ball tailing to the outer half, 3-1. Game number 150 tonight. Down to a dozen after this one's done. Oh my goodness. Halfway up the second deck as Defoe hits one way foul.
Try.
Got all of it.
But 150 of anything is a lot, right?
Yeah.
150 push-ups, 150 sit-ups, 150 9-inning games.
Daniel Murphy has 159 hits.
That's a lot. Some have been more than 9 innings.
Quite a few. And then we've waited and waited to play 9 innings on some nights. So this one high in the air for Inciarte. Ryan Zimmerman can only shuffle back to the bag. 2 down. He's still there.
$150 is a lot.
So a Nats record, at least in terms of wins, a percentage available here. I'll go back to the '94 Expos. They only played 62 road games because that was the summer of the impending strike and the lockout. Nationals best in the National League. Yeah, on the road even better than the Dodgers. As Jeep takes us on the road. Here's Michael A. He's 2 RBIs away from 50. That would be a good number for him considering the time he's missed. He's driven in 9 in his last 10 games on 13 hits, 5 of them for extra bases. Target in. They play every hitter right-handed over toward the right center gap with Inciarte. Right where he is where Rendon hit the fly ball, ending the first. So he's had 3 putouts already. Swing and a miss on a pitch up. So after the double, 2 Ks around the fly ball, and Gohara escapes. No score early. Zim on fire.
I want to win a signed game-worn jersey off the back of your favorite player, or even Dusty Baker? $5 jerseys off their backs raffle tickets are available at Nats Park during all remaining home games. Proceeds benefiting the Nationals Dream Foundation. 26 winners will be drawn during the game Sunday, October 1st, to receive their jersey on the field immediately following the final out. All stinky and everything. Visit nationals.com/jerseys. Didn't somebody get Jordan Zimmerman's jersey, or did that go to the Hall of Fame when he threw the no-hitter?
I would imagine they maybe came up with a backup jersey that looks just like the original. You might have number 6 or 31.
That'd be a good one. I want that one. Or that one.
Here's Nick Markakis. 51 career plate appearances against Max. 5 walks, 13 for 46. Matt Kemp not in the lineup tonight. He's got bad career numbers against Scherzer. And if that one would have stayed fair, easy play. Matt Kemp is 6 for 48 against Max Scherzer. So how about some Jeep inside the numbers here? Guys who drive in a lot of runs without hitting homers since the start of last year. Nick Markakis more than those other 3 who are far more powerful for homers than is Nick, who's hit 8 all year. But he gets his doubles and he gets his RBIs.
I was wondering how soon guys would start going with the closed stance. Giancarlo Stanton, his 55th home run yesterday. Check out Nick Markakis. He hasn't been this closed off with his lower half all season long. Got this Stanton stance going.
Yes, he is. He's lined up for left center, isn't he?
Yeah.
1-2 from Max, who's already struck out 2. That is to the left of the bag.
I always felt like if you close your stance, it was really hard to get to the inside pitch because you're kind of locking yourself out of getting to that inner half. But if you watch Stanton stride, he comes back to even, meaning he starts closed, but he strides even with his back foot. And let's check out Nick Markakis on this one and see if he strides back to even or stays closed. So just watch his lower half here. Back to even. See, if you start closed and you stride even more, you really block yourself off, and there's no way you can pull a baseball. But if you stride back to, you know, if you drew a straight line from your back toe toward the pitcher.
Nick Markakis has hit 20 homers in his career twice. But those are way back in 07-08, his second and third years with the Orioles. 13 last year here. Drove in 89. And Scherzer trying to get that 89 to the outside edge, just missed. 2-2. Nissan on the pitch cast.
Pretty good pitch. I don't think it came back all the way though. Definitely hit Wieder's target.
Markakis, guy who can foul off a lot of pitches and stay in there for a while.
See, that's the pitch right there. If we see that one again, that I think is tough to get to with a closed stance. That slider coming down and in. See how he's blocked off. Now watch where this pitch starts and ends up. That's a tough one to get to with a closed stance.
That's a pitch that Murph's been opening up on the last couple of years and hitting for power. 2-2, nobody out, bottom second. Up and away. Nick Markakis, 33 years of age. Their entire veteran outfield is signed through next year. Kemp, Inciarte, and Markakis. There he goes again, spoiling the count.
Pretty good fight going on here. It's Matt Kemp.
And he's only played 111 games this year of their 149.
10-pitch battle coming up.
And number 9, the one he just fouled off, the only one close to the center of the strike zone. That one's fair. Ryan Zimmerman, and for Max, 4 in a row. And a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller time later in the game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. 2 strikeouts, a fly and a grounder. Kurt Suzuki next. Kurt, at the age of 32, having a really good year. And career 5 for 15 against Max. Three of his 15 home runs against the Nationals this season. Tonight, Max is looking for his 140th career win. And he's getting close to 300 career starts. Tonight is number 294. And this one out to right center, but Michael A. Taylor will track it and catch it. 2 down.
There's Max's NL ranks. I was talking to Tom Glavine today about the Braves staff. You know, Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, all the Cy Youngs. Maddox won 5, Glavine won 2, Smoltz won 1. I said, "Did you guys ever take votes away from each other?" Because,
good question.
you know, look at Gio Gonzalez, Max Scherzer, and Steven Strasburg the year they're having. And he said, you know, the year I won it, 1998, Maddox and Smoltz finished tied for 4th. The year Maddox won it in 92, he finished 2nd, but Maddox was a Cub that year. But he said they were always kind of flirting with it. And I showed Tom Glavine Steven Strasburg's numbers this year, and he said I had no idea he was having that kind of year statistically. You know, 14-4 with a 2.60 ERA, the scoreless inning streak, what, at 35? And I don't know if these guys will take votes away from each other when it comes to the voting, but all 3 of these guys have to be considered a lot like Maddox, Glavine, and Smoltz. At least for 1 year.
Sure. Then if they stay together for another 6 or 7, we can really do some comparisons.
I think the longevity of those 3 is amazing. But hey, why not? There's 2 power righties. Well, 1 power righty. A guy whose stuff moved all over the place right-handed, and then a finesse lefty in there. A lot like these 3 guys.
23-year-old rookie Rio Ruiz in there battling 0-2 here. Maybe in the lineup because he's got a home run and 2 RBIs against Max Scherzer in 5 career at-bats.
I was talking to Ken Rosenthal this weekend about Steven Strasburg's numbers and how no one's talking about the big right-hander for any postseason pitching award.
Yeah.
Kind of under the radar, right?
Sure.
Missed some time. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. He'll get some votes. So will Gio.
(0-2) pitch again.
I mean, we're talking about 3 guys for a potential MVP tonight and 3 guys for a potential Cy Young. If that doesn't tell you how good 2017 has been, I can't help you.
You know, and maybe Kershaw was about to put the Cy Young away, but he got beat Sunday by the Phillies, or last night, pardon me. And so Max now at 249 strikeouts. 6 Braves up, 6 Braves down.
Thank the Air Force for all their services, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, the Air Force just had a birthday a couple of days ago. This is our first chance to celebrate it. 70 years of age, the Air Force. Wieters, Scherzer, Turner, top of the 3rd for the Nats. Matt Wieters 0 for 2 against Gohara last week. Nobody in baseball needs a day off this time of the year more than a catcher. So hopefully Matt's refreshed. Hitting just under 240 right-handed. And of course he's in familiar surroundings.
Tell you what the days did off for me was give it perspective. Like sit back and watch the broadcast and watch the team from a different angle where you're not reading promos the whole time and you know, doing replays, and just kick back and watch this club and just to really appreciate how good they are. You know, when you're in the everyday of it, it goes real fast. But to sit back for a couple of days at home and watch this team, or at the ballpark and watch this team from a different perspective, you start to realize how good these guys really are. Not that we, or I, didn't before. Yeah. But it's almost like a day off as a player. It gives you a different perspective. When you're in the middle of the game every night in the heat of battle, it goes quick. But when you have a day off and you sit back, it gives you a different look.
1-2 to Matt, and he gets a piece of that breaking ball. And hats off to all of you who braved a late start and a very long evening at the yard on Sunday night. Took a while, but the guys put on a great show for you. That's a good take by Wieters. 2-2. Matt, born in Charleston, South Carolina, but he played at Georgia Tech, of course. Hit .359 for the Yellow Jackets in 185 games with 198 runs batted in. And of course he was a closer for a couple of years in college. That's some serious hook on that two-bagger down the left field line. So for the second consecutive inning, the Nationals have a leadoff double.
'20th double of the year for Matt. Looked like he stayed on a slider. That's a pretty good one. He just caught out front, hooked it down the line, stayed back nicely. Cruz is into second. Now see if Max Scherzer could advance Matt Wieters to third.
Yeah, it gets to 20 doubles on the year. Max 5 sacrifice bunts this year. They're going to really pinch from the corners Ruiz and Freeman, especially Freddie Freeman. Ruiz trying to stay home a little longer on the third base side, and that deflection got Kurt Suzuki.
Little redirect right there. Off the kneecap. Even with the shin guard, that didn't feel well. Watch how Max keeps his right hand out of harm's way. I like it. Kind of just lets it hover there for a second, then doesn't put it up high on the bat because he doesn't want it to get hit.
Oh, that's perfect. Third baseman wants to get a play at third on the runner. No chance. And Max, great on the sacrifice, his 6th of the year and the 35th of his career.
Get some high fives when he gets back there. All the boys kind of shuffling toward the top step to greet the sacrifice bunch. Show how big it is, right? No, it's just a bunt. No, look at guys are getting up, coming over there. Way to go. Good job. Atta baby. Atta boy.
And there's respect by the Braves for Scherzer too. Infield in, third inning, 0-0 game. Trey Turner looking for his 42nd RBI. So Gohara goes down and in, trying to get him to pull a ground ball. Trey, 278 coming into this game since coming off the DL 19 games ago. That's going to get through for an RBI hit. And the fun might just be starting, even though it's a left-handed pitcher. 1-0 Nats on Turner's 42nd RBI.
Nice piece of hitting right back up the middle. Good try by Ozzie Albies, but it was by him. He hit it hard. So get him on, get him over, get him in. That's a double for Trey Turner.
Yeah, we shall see. He's 40 out of 46.
You know, if we had done that Sunday night game, Jason's ball would have been fair because we would have had a camera right on the line and you would have saw the white grass fly up, which it did. But for some reason, they didn't get a good look at it. It was fair.
And that could have decided a ball game right there. Fortunately, the Nats went bombs away later. And we had a question about this on Twitter the other day. I just happened to be sitting in the left field bleachers with my wife on a night we were at the ballpark early.
Were you guys pounding some beers out there?
No, we were working that night.
Oh, all right.
But I did notice the grounds crew. We talk about this frequently, the outfield grass where the line is. Yes, some of that's painted on, but the grounds crew during batting practice, they'll lay some chalk on top of that paint.
Nice.
So that if a ball hits the line, you will see chalk fly. So that for those of us who saw what we thought were white blades of grass or white chalk come up on that line drive the other night, that was real.
Well, the guy in the batter's box saw it because he hit it and he said it was fair. That's all I needed to hear.
And on an off-speed pitch, Jason pops it up for Swanson. 2 outs. That'll bring in the number 3 hitter, Anthony Rendon. So Trey, no chance to get to second yet.
Somewhere over the rainbow? I'm not getting that.
So the organist wants Anthony Rendon to hit a ball really far here.
Not sure. StatCast is powered by, guess what? AWS. And check out Trey Turner's lead. I like knowing how far a guy is out. We used to just eyeball it, but now we have the exact number to tell you how far out he is. I think, Michael A. Taylor's had the biggest lead we've seen this year at 14 feet. Trey's usually consistently around 12. Other base stealer Wilmer Defoe likes a smaller lead around 10 feet to get a good jump. But that's cool. It's almost like the first down line in the NFL now.
Yeah.
Which I can't live without. And pretty soon, the same will be true for leadoffs in StatCast. There you go.
Kind of a flat-footed quick release, not much on the throw. Target in. And with Turner running, base hit to left, he picks it up and just goes to third, standing up right in front of Matt Adams.
Boy,
third hit of the inning.
He stumbled around second. See if he's okay at third. Remember, Trey had the hamstring problems this year. He had a big-time stumble coming around second. Lane Adams just figured Trey Turner's fast, so I'm not going to throw it. But watch him stumble right here, right around shortstop. That right there. It looks like he's okay at third. He's been stretching out a little bit. Well, here comes that guy.
Ryan Zimmerman now has the 7th 30-double, 30-home run season in the history of the Nats. He had done it in '09, but he joins Alfonso Soriano, Bryce, Adam Dunn, Adam LaRoche, and Michael Morse on that list. To left side, it's through, and there's 100 for Ryan Zimmerman. Ground ball with a lot of top spin that he pulled, and for the 3rd time in his career, he is a 100 RBI hitter.
He needs the ball. Get him the ball. He won't ask for it. Someone's got to ask for it for him. That's the ball. He's got it in his hand. They're exchanging it, but where's the ball going? We got to keep an eye on this.
I don't see. Is anybody in the dugout calling for it?
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Kurt Suzuki knows. He's giving it to the bat boy. Bat boys, give it to that. That's going the wrong way. Hello. Oh. It's going in the bucket. Hey. Anyways, congratulations, Ryan Zimmerman, 100th RBI this season, a clutch 2-out knock, 2-0.
So Howie Kendrick, with the Nats already having a crooked number up there, could make it a huge inning.
They got it.
Ah, okay.
There's the scuff from Gohara. It's probably where the ball hit right in front of the plate. 100 RBIs. How about that? Well, comeback player of the year's in the bag. I'm sure he'd trade all that for a ring.
Oh-2. Kendrick staying on it, fouling it the other way.
So Zimmer's at 304, 33, and 100. Quite a year.
Oh-2 to Howie again.
So, and just another little thing to chew on. Next year in spring training, when somebody starts 0 for 17, do not panic. Spring training does not mean a thing. You're looking at 304, 33, and 100, and he started spring training 0 for 17.
Howie down on strikes for the second time. But a big inning. Matt Wieters got it all started. Trey drove him in. And then Ryan Zimmerman, after a Rendon single, bringing in Trey Turner. Number 100. Well done, Ryan Zimmerman. He's at the century mark for the third time in his career.
Fetty, and I'd like to thank the Air Force and tell them a happy birthday. Thank you for all your service. Best wishes.
Best wishes indeed. Thank you, Eric. We're going bottom three. Max Scherzer, 30 pitches, 24 strikes. Ryan Zimmerman, 2 for 2 night. And a long way to go in this one. Lane Adams hitting .310. Last one he hit in this ballpark was a big one for the Nationals a week ago Sunday.
Also talked to Tom Glavine about clinching early, and he said a couple times the Braves and all those division championships they had clinched early, and it was just hard to get up for games. So you start focusing on the postseason and getting your rotation in order, and there's all kinds of different little subplots, and you know it's the big leagues, and you have to do what you have to do to get up. But he would say, hey, when we clinched early, that was real hard to play out the last 15 or 10 games, and look how many years they did it in a row.
14, right?
Yep. Rain starts to fall.
Yes, it has arrived. So bottom of the third, Nationals on top by a couple. Adams 2 for 3 against Mac's career. Really got jammed by that 81 running up and in on him, and not in the air long enough for Ryan Zimmerman. Dansby, Swanson in the 8th spot, then Gohara. We're on the 250 watch here. And Adams puts it in play. Right field, Jason Worth. 7 straight to start the game. Oktoberfest back at Nationals Park a week from Friday. This one will be bigger than ever. First 20,000 fans, 21 and older, get a Nationals Oktoberfest beer stein, courtesy of Budweiser. All fans enjoy the sights, sounds, and tastes of Germany throughout the evening. Visit nationals.com/theme games right now.
Those beer steins were legit last year. I still have mine.
There's Swanson hitting .234. First pitch, 93 heater, right in there. Jams him with that one, and this one for Howie in left field. 2 down in the third. Luis Gohara 0 for 3 as a big league hitter. Oh, 2. And there it is, number 250 for Max. 4th of the night. 9 in a row to start the ball game. More on that magical 250 because this isn't Max's first rodeo with that. Telecast celebrating the birthday of the U.S. Air Force. Brought to you by SC3 and CA Technologies. Together delivering leading-edge technical solutions to the military. By DynCorp International, we serve today for a better tomorrow. And by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the armed forces, veterans, and their families for over 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. Initially part of the U.S. Army, the Air Force formed as a separate branch on September 18th, 1947. While the Air Force celebrates that date as its official birthday, the history of the branch stretches nearly as far back as the airplane itself. And also happy birthday to Dan Kolko, who will be back with us tomorrow. You better be.
I think he turned 48 today.
Now that's a quantum leap.
We didn't need him here for the simulated game at all, so no big deal. Happy birthday, Dan. Text me if you're watching.
Defoe, Taylor, Wieters, Booth asking for trouble as we go to the top of the fourth. Wilmer, fly ball to center first time. And this one also out to Inciarte. Wilmer's challenge is going to be for these last couple of weeks to keep collecting some hits while he's not getting those 4 at-bats tonight he was enjoying for quite a while. He was so good when he was getting those ABs. So most postseason appearances, Dusty about to have number 10. Now, well, okay, yeah, we've already given him the clincher for this year, so it is 9. First 6 are in the Hall of Fame. And that ball by Taylor hit to deep left center. That's going to hit off the wall. 2 or 3 feet above the track. And Michael A. with his 14th hit in his last 11 games. And 6 of them extra bases.
He's been doing such a nice job of getting on top of the high pitch. Watch him just roll his wrist, create some backspin. And this ball almost knocked down the left center field wall. 108-mile-an-hour double for Michael A. Taylor. So nice swing. We'll see if Matt Wieters can pick him up.
Well, Matt got the 2-run rally started last inning with a double down the left field line. Late for 97, strike 1.
Max getting a last-minute scout report, or maybe what they want to do in certain situations for bench coach Chris Spire.
An inside out swing on the fly ball by Wieters to Markakis. Taylor tagging and staying, 2 outs. So Max can swing away and try to drive in his 6th run this year.
Yeah, 6 for 13 with 5 RBI with runners in scoring position this year.
Ten hits, a homer, 5 batted in. Markakis really shallow and right.
There's the numbers.
It's pretty awesome. When do we ever talk about pitchers hitting with runners in scoring position? Never. That's hard hit. Manhandled by Rio Ruiz. So the Nats swinging it well tonight, 2-0, middle of the fourth. Of Nationals baseball brought to you by the all-wheel drive RAV4 Toyota. What drives you? Visit buyatoyota.com for great deals. Beautiful dome of the state capitol, downtown Atlanta, where baseball is played no more. Now we're up in the northwest suburbs here at SunTrust Park. Inside the Numbers brought to you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in Max. So 250 plus strikeout seasons right there with Pedro and the great Ferguson Jenkins, and challenging Randy Johnson, I'm sure, in the next couple of seasons.
All time in the history of forever.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, another list where everybody's Hall of Famers. Inciarte, Albies, and Freeman. Max 42 pitches, 34 strikes. Rendon on the grass at third. Probably back up a little bit with each strike here. Pulling out the changeup now.
A little high strike, he'll take it. Bill Miller looking for strike. Mercedes-Benz on the pitch cast. He'll take it.
Inciarte struck out swinging on a pitch up and away first time. That one in on his hands. Defoe. 10 straight.
So here's tonight's punch outs. Some tickets punched. Some Ks for Max Scherzer. There's Ender Inciarte in the first with a high fastball. Ozzie can't hit the slider. Not too many people can. Looked like a changeup right there to Rio Ruiz, and the big left-hander Luis Gohara going down on strikes.
Max calls them punchies. That one up high to Ozzie Albies.
Ponchelo, strikeouts in Spanish.
I like it. Swing and a miss on some 94 upstairs.
Little high heat. Watch him drop and drive. A little rise to that fastball. Albies thinking that's going to be belt high by the time he swung. It was right around the logo.
And then another ground ball for Wilmer Defoe. Freddie Freeman is next.
2018 Nats Plus memberships are on sale now. Guarantee the best available seats for next year. Plus, get postseason tickets for this year. And don't forget about the All-Star Game, the Home Run Derby. Visit nationals.com/2018 today. All kinds of great stuff happening between now and next year. They renewed. Not the girl on the end so much.
Freeman, a long foul.
I'm not messing around with Freddie this time. He scared me last time.
0-1 to Freddie. Turns on it. Flare, right field, and Defoe couldn't get there. Worth couldn't get there. And the Braves, on a bloop, have their first base hit. Wilmer was already playing in right field, so he was able to get some coverage out there.
I wonder if Wilmer going out and Jason coming in kind of made Jason's decision for him. I thought maybe if Wilmer wasn't there, Worth keeps coming and tries to make one of those dive-in deals, sliding things he does, but once again, no hitters are sexy, but I don't think you want to see him this late in the season and run his pitch count up to about $130 trying to get one. So
yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
It'd have been fun.
Markakis will drop one into center. Freeman, knowing the great arm out there, not challenging Taylor with 2 outs. And it'll be Kurt Suzuki with 2 aboard.
Plum, what do we got?
Yeah,
a little plum action.
Suzuki fly ball to center first time. And Kurt Suzuki head down, a little stroll back toward Bill Miller, and some words on that call.
The common phrase when you're facing an ace on a really good night to an umpire is he doesn't need any help. And you hear guys say that to the umpire all the time on borderline pitches that don't go their way.
Scherzer has now pitched 188 and 2/3 innings, and he's giving up 119 hits.
Is that good?
Well, it's like 70 innings with no hits. It's crazy. Funny swing there, and a ball right off the end of the barrel.
It's just been cool to see the evolution of Max. When he was a Diamondback, he just threw a billion and was coming right at you. Then as a Tiger, he started to evolve into this guy that was mixing it up a little bit. Now we see him at this stage in his career with a couple of Cy Youngs in his back pocket and one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in baseball, having so many weapons at his disposal, just pitching, like flat out pitching every time he takes them out. It's not about 98, which I thought when the Nats got him, that's what they were getting. The guy that throws 100. And then seeing him for this many years now with the way he slider, curveball, changeup, fastball 92, fastball 97. I mean, in, out, up, down, everything, Carp. It's just like he pitches. And on top of all that, we always talk about, I know broken record, he competes like no other. Like no other. That part I didn't know either. And what a joy it's been to see this guy every 5th day in that uniform.
Foul ball. That ball was in the air when it passed over the third base back fair, but it was in essence a fly ball that landed foul.
Do you know how hard that play was, that he just backhanded that like a changeup in the dive already? And kind of in between, he just gloves it, basically stabbed it out of the air in a hop. Not knowing whether it's fair or foul, thinking he saved the run. He's about to show off the cannon and throw out Kurt Suzuki on top of it. I want to see that play finish. So good down there. So good.
Probably just got a compliment from Kerwin Danley, the umpire, too. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out. Nats up by a couple. And Scherzer pulls it way outside. Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis will be on the move.
The percentages of 3-2 fastballs Max Scherzer throws, I'm not sure of, but I'm going to say it's low. Threw it.
Yeah, he went after Suzuki, didn't he?
He shook off. Matt Wieters probably put down an off-speed pitch, and then he shook to the fastball. And I like how, and we'll show it again from center field, how he just turns his glove enough so if I'm Freddie Freeman at second, I can't see in there to see what he's changing his grip to. You know, whenever you're on second, Carp, you can see right into his glove. If a pitcher sets with a grip, you can relay the pitch right from the pitcher. You don't even need the signs, but watch Max kind of turn his glove just a little bit away from Freddie Freeman so you can't see in there. Right there. See that little less subtle turn?
Mm-hmm. Fastball again.
So he's changing the grip as he comes set. And then right when he gets the grip he wants, he just, I don't know, a couple centimeters turn so the runner can't see it. When you talk about attention to detail, some guys leave it wide open. You just look in there and you're like, change up. Okay, well, if I move my right leg first, it's a change up. If I move my left leg first, it's a fastball. If I'm the runner on second. Don't even need to decipher the sequence. Watch, we'll show you again here. So there, he still hasn't set the grip yet, but watch when he sets it. Right there, now just a little turn of the glove.
Kurt Suzuki on the ball sliding away from him, staying alive again. So Max about to throw his 20th pitch of this inning. Averaging 14 pitches the first 3. When he retired, 9 in a row and eventually 11.
I would tell guys, watch my feet once I get my primary lead. If my right foot goes first, it's off speed. If my left foot goes first, it's fastball. Just watch my feet when I'm on second, if I had the signs. How would I tell them I had the signs? I put 2 feet on top of the second base. If I stood on top of the base with both feet, that means I had them. 100%, not guessing.
And Suzuki will get the Braves on the board. Tying run's going to be at third base as Kurt Suzuki has his 12th RBI against the Nationals this year out of his total of 43. 2-1 ball game.
Good at bat by Kurt Suzuki. Max left the slider kind of out over. Actually, looking at it again, check that. That wasn't that bad. It just went down and dug it out.
Three consecutive two-out singles, starting with the Freeman bloop into right. Rio Ruiz struck out first time up. So Turner shaded up the middle. Defoe toes to the dirt on the outfield edge.
.64 pitches for Max. Remember last time Dusty Baker left him in a long time, and that was a plan to build up his pitch count for the postseason so he could go deeper, to build up his stamina. Last time out he threw 116 pitches against the Braves. That was on the 13th.
And that's trouble if it's fair, but hooking.
Off the end, broke his bat. Kind of digging this ballpark the more we come here. It's kind of growing on me. It's a good yard. They did a nice job.
Yeah. Well, Turner Field really never had a chance as a bona fide baseball park. The converted Olympic Stadium that housed all the track and field events and the opening and closing ceremonies. But baseball only, this is the way it should be down here, and they got it right. They're averaging 30,855 a game in their first season. 8th in the league, right behind the Nationals. Swing and a miss, and a ball diving down and in. Long inning, 2-1, Nats still on top, and it'll be Trey Turner leading off. RBI single last time up. Worth and Rendon to follow. When Trey's on base, this ball club scores a lot of runs. One 3-0 Braves. Top of the order coming up. September 19th, this date in 1968, Denny McLain won his 31st game, most in the American League since Lefty Grove 37 years before that. Tigers beat the Yankees that day. Bye. Mickey Mantle hit his 535th and next to last career homer in that game. Tigers would go on to win the World Series in '68. Trey Turner, first pitch swinging. Nick Markakis. So Turner 1 for 3. Worth is next. So Lane Adams, with something happening to Enciarte, moves over to center and puts Jace Peterson into the game to play left. So the Braves have lost their leadoff man tonight. And Worth up there, first pitch swinging.
I was said it when he first came back that the adrenaline would carry him for a few games, and then all of a sudden it's hard to stay in the fast lane at this part of the season when the game's moving maybe at its peak. And that was the case, right? Jason came back at that far tater his first night, had a couple of hits. That's adrenaline. That's adrenaline catching you up with the game. And then, you know, the soreness of missing time and the spring training legs and you know, the stuff that you iron out in spring training is hard during the season.
Ripped. Left field corner. Gets into the deep corner out there. It'll nestle right under that padding, and Jason Worth has a double. That's a bunch of extra base hits tonight.
And when you're 38, it might even be harder, but the more you play, the more you see live pitching, the more you see velocity, you get your timing back, and you're not as sore every night. Your legs don't feel like foul poles. So a one-out double for Jason Worth, and, you know, like I've said all along, they need him in the postseason. He's clutch in October.
Told me today his legs feel great, and that's huge for him. He says, I think my legs are out of spring training now. And said the shoulder still, the left shoulder still has him a little bit off here and there, but feeling pretty good. Rendon 1 for 2. That was a base hit 2 innings ago that moved Trey Turner. And then Ryan Zimmerman drove Turner in with his 100th RBI. Waited for that breaking ball and skied it to center. Lane Adams. Worth back to tag, and he'll change his mind. He didn't know the throw was going to be 20 feet offline.
Well, let me show you Ryan Zimmerman and some adjustments he's made lately and why he's hot. Check this out. See the pigeon toe thing here? That keeps the front hip closed. That keeps the front shoulder closed for a little bit longer than normal. And when everything's kind of nice and slow and early, and you watch the hand set, the leg kick, the foot down early, all of the moving parts right now are in sync. And we always talk about it. We talked about it in April, and we'll talk about it again right now. That's when he's most dangerous. But I like the pigeon toe thing to keep the front hip set, kind of locked in there, so your front hip doesn't fly open, and your shoulder doesn't go with it. It keeps you on the ball longer, and that's how he's driving it to right center field consistently. And there's the look, the confident look, the same one he had in April. Watch the pigeon toe, lock it in, lock the hip in, front shoulder. When he does that move with the upper half carp where he just kind of sets it before he goes with his hands. I mean, I'm saying to myself after seeing this guy every day for 7 years, look out when he's like this. It's hard to articulate all the stuff that's going on, but when he sets those hands right before the pitch, right there, that's when you're thinking, look out.
Well, we saw it Sunday. We saw it first time up tonight. When he's taking the ball to right center, there's nobody in the game any better at that moment. 2 homers Sunday, the double tonight. Then he pulled the base hit. Big rip on 1 and 2. Into the 9 o'clock hour we go. Bob and FP. Dan will be back with us tomorrow night here at SunTrust Park in Atlanta. RBIs by Turner and Zimmerman. 2-1 Braves. Left side again, takes a bad hop off of Ruiz, and Worth will come home to score. Now let's see how the official scorer pays attention on this one, because FP, that thing really came up at the end.
It did. You see the look on Ruiz's face, like, are you kidding me with this hop? So check it out. Right there. Ooh. They called it E5. That's why I said it was in the middle of the replay. Watch the hop, though.
Well, Ryan could have 101.
That's Ruiz's 3rd error of the year.
And now a shot to left center by Howie Kendrick will send Zimmerman to 3rd. So Howie into the hit column.
He's jokingly asking for the ball. What you do when you haven't had a knock in a while.
Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach.
You think that's begging if I say that's a hit for Zimmerman?
No, it was a bad hop. From time to time, the one thing I don't understand is why scorers do not recognize bad hops when they see one.
The guy last time when we were here was awesome. You know, he came over and he asked us for our opinions. The first time a scorekeeper's ever done that. Remember, he came in the booth and watched the replay with us and asked what we thought. That last hop caught a cleat mark or something. Some topspin to it, first of all. So watch the last hop kind of shoot on him there, pick up speed. Did he play it into a hit by being on the side of it? I don't know. I think it's a hit.
But, you know, Major League third basemen don't miss that unless it's a bad hop.
Especially one with 2 errors in 44 games.
So here's Wilmer Defoe trying to get the Nats up by 3 here. They've got their 2-run lead back. Wilmer, 2 fly balls to center tonight. Pitch count getting way up there on Luis Gohara. Started this inning with 57. And Defoe hits a hot shot. 1 hop and a really good play by Dansby Swanson to stay with it. So right now it's an unearned run. The Nats by 2 again.
Well, game summary as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Max Scherzer checked that one out. 4th straight season with 250 Ks or more. And Ryan Zimmerman with 100 RBIs. Some historical things going on here tonight, sort of.
Yeah, it's a team game, but the personal milestones and the things, as you always say, that end up on the back of your baseball card, so exciting to watch when you put them in perspective of a long career like Ryan Zimmerman's and Max Scherzer.
Teammates once say there's no I in team, but there's an M and an E.
At the knees from Scherzer to Lane Adams, who hit a fly ball to right first time up. So a long 4th, but he was pretty economical before that, so that's not a pitch count killer. Gave up 3 2-out singles, got out of it with the strikeout of Ruiz. Inside 3-2. Lost him, and that was way outside. Scherzer, first walk tonight, 53rd of the year in 188 innings.
All right, you want exclusive access to the Nats postseason ticket pre-sale? Join the free Nationals fan club and receive all postseason pre-sale info you ever could imagine. Visit nationals.com/postseason to join today. Don't miss out.
Swanson fly ball to left first time. So the number 8 spot, and Luis Gohara, who's thrown 72 pitches, is on deck.
He was going.
Adams is 8 for 8. There he goes. Pitch outside. Wieters, a good throw, but it's short and goes into center. Adams 9 for 9, right on line, just couldn't get it all the way there.
If he gets it there, he's out because Adams had a bad jump, a little slip. Watch the slip right there. When he started, I thought he's out. But the short hop unable to be picked, and it was a tough one for Wilmer. That's an in-betweener. 9th stolen base of the season for Adams. Not Wilmer's fault at all. That was a tough one.
Yep.
I think teams are going to run on the Nats in the postseason, and it's something that they got to shore up a little bit, whether it's holding runners close, whether it's throwing over a lot, whether it's pitching out if you think a guy's going, because Adams told you he was going the pitch before. He took a big jab to second before he got back. So I don't know how Dusty Baker handles it, but you saw the Dodgers exploit it this weekend, and you know that the Cubs have probably had a scout in the stands for at least a month now watching this ball club every single night.
2-1. So on the foul tip, things back even.
That's why the playoffs, Carp, are so intense, because the Nats have somebody watching the Cubs and the Brewers and whoever they think every single night for a month. You know every tendency of every player. You're going to have every defender in the right position, more so than teams you play 19 times during the season, because you're just bearing down on these ball clubs right now, or at least the Cubs. And the same way it goes for the Cubs and the Nats.
Swanson, fair ball. So the leadoff walk will cost the Nats a run here. He's motoring around second, and Kendrick gets it back in. So twice the Nats have led by 2, and the Braves have battled back to within a run each time. For Swanson, RBI number 48.
That fastball up and in that he just kind of opened up on early. Did you see him open up the hips, kind of step in the bucket and drill it down the left field line for a double? And he was thinking about 3, put the brakes on hard coming around second. So a nice swing by the Braves shortstop. 23rd double of the year, makes this a 1-run ball game.
Gohara looking for his first big league sacrifice. He'd like to direct it right at Rendon, and he pops it up over the screen.
Ball's crushed.
That one hit on or near the plate and went straight back. 0-2. Chase Peterson about to get his first at bat after replacing Ender Inciarte. Haven't heard anything yet from the Braves on that. And he gets it done on 0-2. Great bunt. Swanson to third, tying run with 1 out.
Stayed in there nice. Got the bunt down. Julio Teheran, the first guy to give him a high five as he gets back to the dugout. Now Max pitching for the strikeout right here with not Ender Inciarte, Jace Peterson.
Whose career numbers against Max, 3 for 16, 2 batted in. Infield in all around. Good speed at third, not blinding speed.
Jace swings early in these situations, if I remember right. Now that was an easy take.
Yep. So he goes after the first strike he sees. Max has now thrown 40 pitches in the last inning and a third. Cast of many out there. Matt Albers working the band. Sammy Solis. A flurry of activity. And Peterson all locked up on the 87. 1-2.
Well, that's a huge sequence in this game. When you're talking about you've already clinched the division and what are you doing? Well, you're playing for home field. The guy in the mountains pitching for some hardware and going for win number 15.
Mercedes-Benz tracking a really good 1-1 pitch there.
I like the slider again, down and in, same pitch, double up.
He did. Got a called third strike on the inside edge. Number 6 for Max tonight, 2 down.
Huge strikeout. So one was a ball and he swung over the top of it. This one he took for a strike. Very rare you see a called third strike with Max Scherzer. They're usually swinging strikes because his stuff is so nasty it's hard to make contact with. That time it locked up Peterson for a big second out.
Ozzie Albies, a strikeout swinging and a grounder to second.
Well, now that the no-hitter's over, I think you should walk Albies to get to Freddie Freeman because he's no good. You know,
2-0.
I think in the near future the guy in deck's going to win an MVP, and sooner rather than later. He's that kind of player.
Yeah, and he's a power hitter who's also capable of winning a batting title.
Because he takes something out of his swing with 2 strikes and goes inside out, that cricket swing where he goes to left center field. Yeah. So he's going to win one. He just got to stay healthy. This year he was on track to win one. Got derailed with the broken wrist.
2-0 to Albies.
Oh, that was hit or be hit.
Looked like it. Jose Marmolejos. When you have insight, you know how to handle your finances with confidence. Brought to you by PNC Bank. For the achiever in you. His stock rising. Right now, the 19th rated prospect. Not that high. It's probably in the mid to high 20s when the season started. Hit almost 290 at Harrisburg. Good power numbers. Good on base percentage. And a ball driven to center. Michael A. Taylor back. That thing took off on it, but he was tracking it perfectly. So again, Max limits the Braves to 1. hitting so far. Ryan Zimmerman 200 RBIs, and Max Scherzer battling a rookie here, so this one can go either way as we get through the middle innings here. But great night again for Ryan Zimmerman. What a great personal achievement for him within the context of helping the ball club get to 90-plus wins.
Yeah, a couple of hits tonight, 100th RBI, maybe 3 hits. We'll see if they change that last one. Maybe he's got 101 RBIs, but just great to see him have a fantastic year and finishing strong, too. You want to finish strong going to the playoffs because, you know, if that guy gets hot, he can carry a ball club for a month. We've said that. And then number 34 is close. So with those two guys back-to-back again, look out.
Michael A, a double off the left center field wall last time up. To the right of the 385 mark. It hit about 4 feet up on the wall, which is 9 feet high out there. He really jacked one. He's 1 for 2. Breaking ball down and in. And the foul tip. Nats box. No scoring till the third. Wieters led off with a double. Turner drove him in with a base hit up the middle. Rendon left center base hit. Ryan Zimmerman pulled one through for the first 2 runs, and then the Zimmerman ground ball that should have been ruled a hit in the 5th drove in Worth, who had doubled. Taylor, and that's back to the pitcher. Gohara guns him out. Top of the 6th underway. Wieters and Scherzer the next 2. Nats made it to 200 over the weekend.
All
LP.
right. So Lynn's home run was the 200th of the year. Washington, D.C. Lexus Steelers have donated $250 for the first 200 home runs hit by the Nats to the Children's National Health System. Lexus, experience amazing.
So that's a cool $50,000.
Very cool.
Worth the home runs. Well done, Lexus. We appreciate it every year.
And well done, Nats, for getting the 200.
That ball looked like it was a strike, but kind of boxed by Kurt Suzuki there.
Don't see him do that often. That must have had some tough late movement on it.
Nets hit 203 last year, so they will obliterate that mark. And this one by Matt high in the air for Markakis. Max Scherzer will bat with 2 outs and the bases empty. Max a sacrifice. Then his second time up, he really hit one hard down to third base, and Rio Ruiz, with Taylor in scoring position, took a hit away from it. And look how he hits that one to center, right at Lane Adams. The man competes, whether with the arm or the bat. Telecast celebrating the birthday of the United States Air Force, brought to you by SC3 and CA Technologies. Together delivering leading-edge technical solutions to the military. By DynCorp International, we serve today for a better tomorrow, and by Navy Federal Credit Union, proudly serving the Armed Forces veterans and their families for over 80 years, federally insured by NCUA. So we celebrate the birthday of the U.S. Air Force. I'd like to thank all of our armed forces for their dedication to protecting the safety and security of America. Happy 70th. U.S. Air Force.
The freeze, there he is.
I didn't think they gave this guy enough of a head start today. I thought he had a shot at first. But.
Check out the Braves bullpen with the towels coming up here. As this dude just gets blown away by the freeze. They're waving him home, the freeze with his goggles on. I'm told he's lost 3 or 4 times this year by Chip Carey, the Braves play-by-play guy.
Must be a horrible feeling. You're running as fast as you can, and then you hear those footsteps.
Check him out. He's doing all right after the race, too. I mean, he's a celebrity around there, right? Although he's a superhero. Who is the freeze?
Yeah.
Got the goggles on. Yeah, I'll get a picture with you. No, I can't tell you my name. It's just the freeze. I wonder if he's cold.
So it's Freddie Freeman in a 1-run game leading off the 6th. Loop single 2 innings ago, got a rally started. Fly ball to center back in the 1st. Shift on. Defoe about 25 feet out into the outfield. And Freeman will hit one a mile high. Taylor. That's how the bottom of the 6th gets underway. Braves first 11 batters retired by Max. We started thinking, but then Freeman dropped in that bloop. Markakis early in the count up the middle, and then Kurt Suzuki, who's been a Nat killer this year, base hit to left. Swanson's double after the Lane Adams walk in the 5th, their other run. So Nick is 1 for 2.
I think they spice up that race next year if the freeze just clotheslines you on the way by. And you sign a waiver before you get into it, and he just puts out his right arm and decks you as he's flying by full speed. And you know that if you get caught, that's part of it. Face down. I mean, I'm talking just clothesline.
You're talking motivation to run really fast.
Yeah, like the Easter Bunny when he crushed the presidents this year. I'm just talking right by back of the neck, back of the head. Spice that thing up a little bit. Give you some incentive, kind of like a Hunger Games race, you know? Maybe even give Freeze a weapon of some sort. You don't like it, do you?
Playable. Rendon told Trey Turner he had the bead on that one. 2 outs. Most popular way to follow the Nats and the rest of baseball and the postseason. MLB.com at bat, #1 app for live baseball, game day, live game video highlights. StatCast. Download MLB.com at bat. Kurt Suzuki 1 for 2 with a run batted in.
Yeah, you can't go another season with the same thing. Maybe have a lion or a tiger coming back the other way from the right field foul pole. That'd be good too. Slow him down a little bit. I have ideas, Carp, and they're good ones.
Kurt Suzuki continues to hit well against one of his former ball clubs.
Well, he's always been clutch. You remember that was his nickname with the Nats. And we sat down, was it with Ryan Zimmerman or Ian Desmond? I forget which one. And we did the word association. I think it was Zim in Atlanta, actually. Yeah. A couple of years ago, we said, you know, we know you don't like to talk about yourself. And we just said, we're going to mention a player's name and you give us one word. And we said Kurt Suzuki, and Ryan said clutch.
Yeah. He actually used 2 words on you for worth.
Gluten-free. I remember.
I guess if you hyphen, that could count as one.
That was
maybe.
my favorite interview I ever did with the guys before the game.
Fair ball at the bag. 6th inning over. Max Scherzer needed a frame like that. That was only 8 pitches. To the 7th we go. Here's our unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. A new record for home runs in a season have been hit. Alex Gordon of the Royals tonight took Major League Baseball past the previous record of 5.694. It's a new record. Clayton Kershaw, for the first time ever, I think it was Aaron Altair, got a grand slam against him last night. And Giancarlo hit number 55 last night. A low laser that went 408 feet. So the home run, the story of the year in Major League Baseball.
It is.
No doubt about it.
Maybe here comes one right now.
Trey Turner, run, Trey, run. It's fair. It's into the corner. He's always going to think 3 until they stop him. And Nick Markakis will come up with it quickly. Trey, 2 for 4. Hardly a better way for the Nats to start an inning than right there.
I like the inside-out approach right here. Fastball in, got his hands inside. And hit it pretty well, too. Got the barrel to a little knockdown 2-iron with some fade to it for a leadoff double.
Jason Worth a double last time. Right-hander Dan Winkler working for Atlanta.
2 young shortstops out there having a chat. They'll be playing against each other for a while.
Yep. Jason, 24 runs batted in. And Turner running. He's got it swiped. Even if Suzuki comes up throwing, that would have been number 41.
Watch the momentum and the hop into the steal. That's where he steals it. First couple steps. Suzuki knew he had the rush. To watch the hop, the shuffle, and the go, and Suzuki thinking he's almost to third. I haven't caught the ball yet. Can't even catch it because he knows he has no shot, even if he catches it. Probably better off he didn't throw it. He might have rushed it into left field. So 41 for Trey Turner. That bag was stolen.
Ties the Nats record. So the infield in for Worth. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Oh, that almost got Trey Turner. Did you see him get out of the way? I mean, he almost took out Trey. He's looking at Jason like, come on, dude, you almost killed me. Check it out. Bullet, this is why you're in foul territory. First of all,
wow,
Hey, Bob Henley with the body language. Trey Turner hitting the deck. That'll wake you up.
Swing and a miss and a ball diving. And by the way, Alfonso Soriano was caught 17 times in 06 when he stole 41. Trey Turner has stolen 41 while being caught just 6 times. So now it's Rendon with 1 out and Trey still at third. And now the Nats trying to get that 2-run lead back. Through 6, Gohara has had a quality start. 3 runs, 2 earned. By the definition of it, how does he follow it up here in the 7th? Rendon jacks one to left, hooking well foul. Second level.
It would have been 25 and 96 for Anthony Rendon. Ryan Zimmerman lurking.
Rendon on a breaking ball, boring down and in on him. Every time a guy hits a foul ball off his lower body or has a fastball up and in, this time of the year, you just want everybody to stay healthy.
Well, it hit him in his ankle guard, but there's something that ankle guard's guarding. So when it hits the guard, it still hits the shin burger or the ankle burger, whatever he's got going on down there.
Infield in, runner at third, 1 out. 0-2 battle here. And Anthony's going to stay alive until he can get something with which to work.
It's so hard to hit under the best conditions, but when you foul a ball off a pre-existing wound and that pain's just shooting through your whole body, and now you have to concentrate on what pitch is coming, try to drive in a run with 2 strikes, it's not fun. He's still testing it out.
Rips it, base hit. Home is Turner. Anthony Rendon on a sore wheel, getting to second base with his 39th double of the year and his 95th run batted in. That's a gutsy at bat.
I hope he's okay, man. He does not look well run. I watched him the whole time. He wanted to stop around first, but he knew it was a double, so he kind of hesitated and kept going. Little hitch in his giddy up here going to first. And you see him chiefing it out for the double. Just got in there. And that's going to do it for Gohara, and a clutch double for Anthony Rendon as he approaches the 100 RBI mark.
So it's our Jiffy Lube pitching change. Gohara pitched deeper into this game than in any other of his big league starts, 6 1/3. Choose a winning team for your vehicle. Jiffy Lube for value and convenience. Pitching change from JiffyLubeDC.com.
his 100 RBIs on the season, just like we promised you earlier in the game. It's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's go back to the third inning. Ryan Zimmerman with 99 RBI. Steaks, ribeye steaks. Drives in Trey Turner. There's the ball, authenticated. Third time he's done it in his career. Yeah, just keep it right there. Give it to him after the game. He's trying to add on right now.
Ryan will face 27-year-old Dan Winkler for the first time.
Yeah, fastball, slider, cutter change for Winkler. Fastball with a little arm side run to it at 93. Pretty good numbers.
Some late break on that 91. Double switch. Johan Camargo will bat ninth, play third base. Swing and a miss. Second out of the inning. It's up to Howie Kendrick, who hit the ball hard out to left center last time up.
Well, they're playing This Is How We Do It on the organ.
I like that.
Yeah, fire him up. I like it.
Howie 0 for 1 against the right-hander. That was up and in around his hands.
Well, he's got the cutter going one way. The two-seam fastball, it doesn't have a whole lot of sink to it, but it's got arm side run. It's difficult at bat for a right-hander. You know, both in the 90s, one chasing you, one going the opposite direction. That's why you saw the average against so low.
Howie, 39 RBIs on the year, 23 with the Nats, and this is 43rd game.
Tried to run it back, started off the plate, bring it back, didn't work.
One and two, target in.
You know, the Nats have to go 10-3 for 100 wins. I don't know how important that is. I was part of a 100-winning club once, and it really doesn't matter when you start the postseason. I think it's a nice thing to talk about. And as I'm telling this story, they changed Ryan Zimmerman's to a hit. So he's 3 for 4 now.
Yes,
but
sir.
The 100 win, whatever. You get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. There's no extra bonus points. Other than it's you know, it's nice to say, hey, the Nats won 100 games in 2017. I never put error in my book. I left it blank. Boom. 3 for 4.
Howie with a good take on a slider away. Well, not bad when you pick up a hit and RBI while you're toweling off. 3-2, and Kendrick It's that ball a long way down the right side.
He doesn't know yet, though. It's a nice little gift when you open up the paper in the morning. Wait, that was 3 for last night? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Try to hit 300. That's a big hit.
Somebody will probably notice when hit number 11 goes up on the board and one of the errors or the error disappears.
I don't think guys look that hard.
I'm not talking about a player.
Oh.
Defoe is 0 for 3 and he will bat with 2 men aboard. Ryan Zimmerman wasn't even supposed to bat cleanup tonight. Daniel Murphy was. And about 45 minutes before the game, Murph was scratched with a left hamstring strain. Zimmerman got bumped up. So did Howie Kendrick. And they've been on base 5 times between them.
Do you think Wilmer knows they just played the theme song to the Flintstones on the organ when he jumped in there for Wilma Flintstone? No idea, I bet. And I bet you half the people in the ballpark have no idea.
By the way, strain a little strong, pardon my terminology there, just tightness in Murphy's hamstring. Defoe hits it hard right at Camargo. Nats pick up a run and they've got their 2-run lead again.
Thank you guys for your service.
Well said, Sean. We could see him later tonight. And the Flag's not doing much of anything. Max Scherzer goes out for his 7th inning. 97 pitches, 73 strikes. Has a 2-run lead for the 3rd time tonight.
Well, he always judges his outing by the last 15 pitches he throws. And last time out didn't go real good for him at the end. And I guarantee you this is the empty the tank inning for Max Scherzer. He's going to let it rip. Maybe even snarl and growl and say mean things about hitters.
Brandon Kinsler is up. Big three worked pretty well Sunday night, didn't they, after the 6 strong innings by Steven Strasburg, Kinsler, Madsen, Doolittle. 2 hits, no runs in their 3 innings.
Fastball up and away is what they're looking for here.
Got him on the edge. Lane Adams gave up on it, and Max Scherzer, strikeout number 7, Nissan on the pitch cast.
Big long walk for Max around the infield as you'll look at the strikeout. Might have got a little help there, but too close to take. He'll take it. Looks like he's pumping himself up right now, doesn't it?
Here's Swanson, 1 for 2, RBI double.
Grunting big time. Can you hear it? Letting it rip, man. End of the game. Be your own closer, whatever cliche you want to throw in there. Let's listen and see if he grunts again.
Got the call at the knees. Swanson didn't like it. 1 and 2.
Let it all hang out. Here we go. A little help too, but he's earned it. Saw slider, started his windup. Wieters put down fastball away right at the end, and he stopped.
One-two pitch. There's a slider that had the hitter reaching. A little in between hop for Turner. Zimmerman picks it. 2 down.
Adventurous play to short. Record the out. Move on. Trey had trouble getting it out. Ryan didn't. So Swanson can run. You don't have a lot of time once you double pump. Trey got something extra on the throw. Kind of threw his rhythm off a little bit. Had the rush, throw it off the wrong foot, and a nice scoop. Did Swanson even touch first? I don't know if he did.
There's Camargo, came in on the double switch. And he faces Max Scherzer for the first time.
Starting to talk a little bit. Yeah, here we go. Almost hit him. Trying to get his breath, isn't he?
One more out. 2-1 here. And Camargo just taken all the way, showing no interest in a 2-1 pitch.
Boy, he mistimed his leg kick. He was all messed up, whether it was Scherzer's delivery or what, but he got his foot down too soon and couldn't fire off a swing. That's the danger of having a leg kick if you don't time the windup correctly.
Weeder setting up away. Up the middle, right past Max. Don't know if it hit him or not. Fortunately, no redirect, and Turner takes care of that. Max Scherzer, 7 outstanding hard-fought innings.
For the Nats' 4th run, and how good was Max Scherzer tonight? 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit Geico.com to see how much you could save.
Max Scherzer, 112 pitches, 83 strikes. So we saw Brandon Kintzler warming up in the 7th. There's Ryan Madson. The 8th has been his lately. Meanwhile, Dan Winkler still on the mound to face Michael A. Taylor here. And he goes down and gets one and pops it up out behind second. Shortstop Swanson, 1 out, top of the 8th. Nats wrap up the regular season when the Bucks are in for a 4-game series. Thursday the 28th through Sunday the 1st. Don't miss your chance to cheer on the Nats. Get ready for the postseason. Nationals.com for all your ticket needs. And don't forget about jerseys off their back at the end of the season. Always an exciting day at the Yard as we show you how much we appreciate you, our Nats fans. There's Matt Wieters. Backdoor slider in there. Adam Lind for Max Scherzer in a moment. And to the right side where the shift was on, all B's, 2 down. So Adam Lind as the pinch hitter, 16 for 44, 4 home runs, 13 batted in.
A Tater the other night, the other way, powered it out to left center against the Dodgers. I'm looking at Max tonight. 112 pitches, 53 fastballs, 13 curves, 29 sliders, and 17 changeups. I feel like that's more curves than normal. Gave him a different look, and you just had a feeling it wasn't going to happen again to the same team, right? We've seen this too many times with Max. I think he's frustrated about something.
The only thing I could think of that he might be upset about was that leadoff walk back in the 5th. The only guy he walked all night. Adams stole a base, scored on the Swanson double. But really, I mean, the Braves had hits in only 3 of his 7 innings. That goes back to what we talked about before, his relationship between his innings pitched and hits given up. It's so one-sided. It's amazing.
It's just hard to square up. You remember when I said I don't remember guys striking out looking very often? The guys in the truck working hard. 81.8% of Max's strikeouts are swinging. That's 3rd highest in the National League. 81.8% swinging. Very rarely do you see guys put his arms up or just get fooled and take a called third. It's always his stuff is so dirty, can't hit it. I didn't know it was that high, though. That's crazy.
And he had Lind reaching, did Winkler. He's going to have a nice 1-2-3 inning. He gets 5 guys, walking 1. Bottom of the 8th, and Ryan Madson on the way. Out touch tonight. First 2 batters of the game. Inciarte up and away. Ozzie Albies down and in with the slider. Rio Ruiz in the 2nd inning. There's the one that got him to 250, the foul tip by the opposing pitcher. Down and in, that's nasty.
That's a big one right here. That's the game changer, and that's the biggest moment in the game. Tying run at 3rd, less than 2 outs. He struck out Jace Peterson on a slider looking. The rest are fun to watch, but that was the turning point of the game right there. It's time for Toyota K's with Kids. $37 donation by the Washington area Toyota dealers to help the children's in at NIH for every strikeout by Nats this year. Toyota K's for kids, with kids, around kids, about kids, all over kids.
Ryan Madson against the top of the order. Pours in the fastball. So for the Nats, tall right-hander. 17th appearance, 1.13 the ERA. 2 runs in 16 innings on 10 hits. And he drops the curve in there. Jace Peterson faces him for the first time.
And fastball curve change, fastball mid-90s to triple digits.
Not a bad 0-2 pitch, standing the hitter up.
Oh.
Bill Miller, we could hear his reaction. So when at least 2 of them appear, turn out the lights and warm up the bus. Unbelievable what they've done.
Bill Miller taking inventory right now. That looked like it didn't feel good. There's the doctor. Still haven't seen anybody in scrubs and masks at Nats Park, or even the Dr. Doolittle outfit. Let's go. Tighten it up. Saving for the postseason? All right.
Two, running fastball out of play. And by the way, a note on the Nats starting pitchers. When Max Scherzer retired, his first man tonight on that strikeout, Inciarte, got the National starters to 900 innings this year. Then he would go on and pitch 7. It's the most for any staff in the major leagues this season.
Ryan Madson's thrown 133 fastballs at 96, 75 at 97, 19 at 98, 3 at 99, and 1 at 100. Before tonight.
3-2. And Ryan Madson, a rare base on balls. Jace Peterson aboard. That's big in a 2-run game. Tomorrow night, Gio, who is celebrating his 32nd birthday tonight, will take the mound against the Braves. 7-2 in 13 starts in the division this year. 10-4 on the road. 14-7 overall. And at times, he makes great defensive plays on fast runners. Lucas Sims out of the Braves bullpen to face the Nats for the first time as a starter. So again, 7:35 first pitch. Nats extra 7 o'clock. They start a half hour later here in Atlanta. Happy birthday, Gio. Now go get him tomorrow. Ozzie Albies 0 for 1 against Madson. Runner goes. And Matt Wieters had no chance. Jace Peterson, huge jump on Madson for his 3rd stolen base.
Man, teams are running wild on the Nats lately. I don't think that one was stolen on Matt Wieters. Got a good jump off Ryan Madson. See him peeking at third. He's thinking about bunting. Rendon just came in on the grass, saw it too.
Swings away and pops it up to left. Howie Kendrick coming on. All right, here you go. It's Madson and Freeman. Sometimes we say the 8th inning is a save. Sometimes it might boil down to 1 at bat is the save.
Buck Showalter walked Aaron Judge the other day with nobody on in the 9th, and he was a tie and run. And it worked. I'm not saying Dusty should walk Freddie Freeman, but I don't know, it just reminded me of it. Let's go with that for now. He's trusting his veteran right-hander out there to be smart.
Last Thursday in the 8th inning of a Nats 5-2 win, Madsen got Freddie Freeman on a fly ball to right field.
There's a Verizon StatCast. Show you the shift. StatCast is brought to you from Fios by Verizon. Fios is not cable, wired differently. Go to getfios.com today.
Fastball up and in. Swing and a miss.
Challenged him. Ryan Madsen's got one of the longest strides in baseball when he comes down the mound. With his frame and his long arms, his 96 is right on top of you. You see the downhill fastball there at 96, just saying, here it is, Freddie. My best bolt against yours. Here we go.
Runner at second, one out. 4-2 Nats. Robert Defoe's about as far out into right field as you'll see a second baseman play on a shift. Been out there every time tonight. Freeman's dropped one over his head. That's a swing and a miss. And Madsen has now retired Freddie Freeman all 6 times when they faced each other. 2 outs.
Challenged him too with heaters. Well, he didn't try to trick him. Here's the fastball again, this time on the inner half. I'm telling you, when you see good fastball hitters late, you just know there's not only velocity with Ryan Madsen, but he's on top of you, it's coming downhill, and it's moving late.
There's Markakis, who's 1 for 5 against him.
Did they abandon the chop in the new ballpark? Because this is usually in the 8th inning when the place would go nuts.
Yeah.
You know, got the tie and run at the plate. I heard like 4 people behind the third base dugout going, that's it. There was more people at the Nats clinch doing the chop than there is right now in the ballpark.
Here's the 0-1 with 2 outs. Madsen keeps pumping strikes. Oliver Perez.
For Rio Ruiz, if it gets there? I don't know.
Yeah, Suzuki, another righty on deck.
Usually the 8th is Ryan Madsen's. Maybe Dusty doesn't want to extend him if this inning goes long.
Over to the left side. Rendon cuts it off. That'll make it a much shorter throw. Well played by the Nats third baseman. Well, here comes the bullpen again. Another 0 on the board.
Washington Nationals, and I'd like to wish the U.S. Air Force a happy 70th birthday.
Thank you, Coach Spire. We appreciate it. 4-11-0 Nats, 2-5-0 Braves. This one going to the top of the ninth with the top of the order. And tonight's copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Yeah, used to play downtown. We're way north from there now. Beautiful new ballpark, and this is 35-year-old Jason Mott. 43rd game of the year, 28 hits in 37 innings, 24 Ks with a bunch of walks, 17. And Trey Turner, 0 for 1 against him, leads off the ninth. Trey looking for a 3-hit night here. Slider down and away.
A fastball 93 for Mott. He'll cut the fastball. It's between a cutter and a slider, so 2-pitch guy.
Trey has scored twice, stolen a base, driven in a run. Walk this guy to start off an inning in a close ball game. You're asking for trouble.
Walk him anytime you're asking for trouble, right? Be on third in about 3 pitches.
All right. Turner on for the 3rd time. No coincidence that his previous 2 times tonight, the Nationals scored in both of those innings.
Sean Doolittle checking out the scene. Somebody reminded me on Twitter, this is a good one. You know how he wished the Air Force a happy birthday. If you remember World War II, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Doolittle had the Doolittle raid, right? One of the turning points in World War II. It showed the United States Air Force if they could actually reach the Japan mainland and do some damage before the ultimate end of the war. And it was a huge part of World War II and the turning point. There he goes.
No contest. And Trey Turner sets a new Nationals record for steals in a season with 42.
I mean, that was almost like watching an intentional walk, right? When we miss it, we look down, the guy's halfway to first base on the walk. How easy was that for Trey Turner? And the new record, 42.
42 steals in his 88th game.
Yeah, all the games he missed, and he just crushed the record. What I say, he'll be on third and 2 pitches. Let's see.
You know, and Jason Wirtz kind of guy likes to see a lot of pitches per at bat. Doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes. He's probably the most ideal guy in the ball club right now to be hitting behind Trey. With the runner holding, strike call, a slider, caught the outside edge. Yeah, good numbers against Mott.
It's a little cutter slider thing going the other way. How many times have you seen a guy do the inside move, what Mott just did twice, back to back?
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, I always used to say go on the second one. If you do it again, you got it. Nobody does it twice. He's pretty quick to the plate.
Quiet ballpark right now. Announced crowd of 26,709. Nationals have never trailed in this one. And Wirth, and even though the ball's in front of him, Turner tries to go to third and he's out. Swanson to Camargo. on a 6-5 for the first out of the inning at third base.
Well, the old saying, never make the first out at third, and that ball was hit to Trey Turner's right. So whenever the ball's hit to the right side of your body and you have a secondary lead at shortstop, the rule of thumb is to go back to the bag. But Trey just playing aggressive and thinking maybe he can beat it with his speed. So hard to corral a guy that always really knows what he's doing. Jason Worth getting pitch run for it first. I don't think up by 2 anybody's going to say a word to Trey Turner about that.
It'll be Alejandro De Aza who can then take over in the outfield. De Aza as a net, 1-for-1 stealing. Anthony Rendon 0-for-2 career against Jason Mott. So a guy who knows how to rip bags.
And a guy who's looking to drive in 100. Five more.
Anthony Rendon got jammed on that one. Jace Peterson, 2 outs. All right, one more go round for Ryan Zimmerman. A 3-hit night, 2 batted in. Talked earlier about that 30 home run, 30 double thing. Well, now if you add in the 100 RBIs, Ryan Zimmerman joins Adam LaRoche and Adam Dunn as the only Nationals who have done that. LaRoche in 2010, 36 doubles, 38 homers, 103 RBIs. LaRoche in 2012, 35 doubles, 33 and 100.
So every once in a while, if you have a questionable call, you look up at the scoreboard to see if they changed it. But I'm not seeing anything up there that says, other than his average, if he sees that and sees the errors taken off, but I don't think he's doing all that while he's trying to hit. You walk in and you go, oh, 3 for 4 tonight? All right. But it doesn't say it. If you start at 301, Carp, and get 3 hits, how's that 304? That doesn't make sense.
Seems pretty unfair, doesn't
I
it?
think that's right. I'm going to check MLB.com.
Ryan is 4 at bats short of 500.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why when you're talking about guys like Tony Gwynn, Pete Rose, George Brett, great hitters who could hit 320, 330 or more every year, with the season wearing on, you gain nothing most nights by getting a hit or two, and to be able to end up with a batting average in that area is really remarkable.
Well, you don't lose much either in an 0 for. You go 0 for 4 at the end of the season with 500 at bats, your average might go down a point or 2.
Good looking set of numbers right there.
Yeah. Zim VP. I'm sticking to it.
Swing and a miss on a fastball up. All right, here we go. Bottom of the ninth. Great night for Ryan Zimmerman. And now Sean Doolittle seeking number 19. Brought to you by the hotels at BWI.com. Minutes from BWI Marshall, Amtrak, and Interstate 95. Discover the convenience of the hotels at BWI.com. 4-2 Nats. 3 outs to get for win number 91. And when this one's over, we invite you to tune in to the Nats Extra postgame show. Johnny and Ray in the studio tonight. It's all presented by W.B. Mason. And you'll see some Ryan Zimmerman highlights. You'll see some Max Scherzer highlights. And hopefully some shutting the door highlights by Sean Doolittle, who's just been so outstanding for the Nats. 30-year-old lefty. And for Washington, 27th appearance. 20 hits in 26 innings. 26 Ks, 7 walks.
Now the doctor is in, and so is Diaz in right field.
And the hitters are Suzuki, the pitcher's spot, where Adonis Garcia is on deck, and then Lane Adams. Kurt Suzuki 2 for 3 tonight. Then against Sean Doolittle, he's 1 for 2. Fastball overpowers Suzuki into a pop-up. Rendon, fair ball, 1 out. So it'll be Adonis Garcia, and he'll be facing Doolittle for the first time. Out of play, right side.
That was 93. You see that swing? I know he's cold, he's off the bench, but the way we've seen with Sean Doolittle since he's arrived as a National, they're swinging at like it's 193. I mean, you get up there 96, 97, but watch this swing. This is a guy looking for a first pitch fastball, and he's late, and he almost fell down. Whatever it is in the delivery, whether it's he's way over on the first base side of the rubber and he's kind of crossfiring, or the short arm. Remember the comparison we made to Billy Wagner when we were in Houston? Well, he's a lot taller than Billy Wagner, but I still think he gets on you just like Billy Wagner's 100-mile-an-hour heater. Tardy again. You know what you're getting with Sean Doolittle. Very rarely does he throw you a wrinkle. And we see hitter after hitter, big league hitters, the best, late on his fastball.
And this one, inside out swing to the opposite side again. Popped him up. Wilmer Defoe. 2 outs. Final hope for the Braves, Lane Adams. So 3 hitters in this inning who've never faced Doolittle.
There you go, another guy sitting on a first pitch fastball, Tardy.
One pitch, fouled. Target inner half.
You remember when Dusty experimented with the matchups in Houston, it didn't really work in his favor, and since then it's been Kinsler, Madsen, Doolittle.
Game over. Fastball, outer edge. And right at the 3-hour mark tonight, the Nationals win their 91st of the year, and Doolittle is 19 for 19. Incredible.
Max Scherzer wins his 15th, and I don't know. I mean, he's got to be the front runner for the Cy Young. Ryan Zimmerman drove in his 100th. Just a fun night at the ballpark, and Max was on point all night tonight against the Braves. They were not going to do it to him twice in a row.
Timely hitting. You don't need that much when you have pitching and a bullpen to close it out like this ball club has since the All-Star break and since Doolittle, Madsen, and Kinsler showed up. Nats win it by 2. Tomorrow night it's Gio. This has been a presentation of Madsen. Johnny and Ray straight ahead.